Cliff Richard has spent more than 6 decades in music, and if you ask him what he treasures most from that extraordinary journey, the answer might surprise you. Not the chart toppers, not the sold-out arenas, not the television specials. It's the people, the faces, the conversations that ran long into the night because no one wanted them to end. He's said himself that as the years pass, he finds himself reaching for old photographs more and more, not because the memories are fading, but because one single image can pull an entire day back into vivid focus. Who was standing nearby? What everyone was laughing about? Who insisted on taking the picture in the first place? The biggest professional milestones, he says, aren't always the ones that linger. It's the quieter moments. Walking off stage with a friend, sharing a meal with people who genuinely understood this strange and unusual life, that seemed to grow more meaningful with every passing year. Of all the remarkable people he's encountered, 5 stand above the rest. Not for their fame, not for their record sales, simply for what they meant to him personally. The first is Elvis Presley. Like so many young performers of his generation, Cliff was completely transformed by Elvis. Before him, popular music felt like one thing. Then, suddenly, there was this unstoppable force, a voice, a presence, a confidence that seemed completely natural. Cliff has spoken openly about how much he studied Elvis, not to imitate him, but to understand how he connected with people so effortlessly. When they eventually met, Cliff admits he was far more nervous than he expected. What struck him most wasn't the star power, it was the warmth. Elvis asked questions, listened, and made Cliff feel like an equal. That kindness stayed with him long after the conversation ended. Next came Olivia Newton-John. In an industry full of noise, Olivia had a rare gift. She made people feel genuinely heard. Cliff has described her as someone who never lost the ability to be fully present in a conversation, no matter how busy life became. Their friendship spanned decades, built across television sets, charity events, and backstage corridors. When she faced serious illness later in life, she did so with a grace that left him in quiet admiration. He says it's the everyday moments, not the global stardom, that he misses most. Bruce Welch, his longtime collaborator and friend, represents something different: loyalty. The kind that never announces itself, but simply shows up, year after year. Cliff describes Bruce as the steady, thoughtful presence behind many of the best creative decisions of his career. Patient in the studio, reliable as a friend, and never driven by ego. George Harrison, he recalls, was someone who never needed to dominate a room. Thoughtful, unhurried, and quietly profound. George had a way of saying something simple that you'd still be turning over in your mind days later. Cliff remembers an evening when a small group sat talking, long after an event had ended. No cameras, no performance, just real conversation. That's the George he carries with him. And finally, Cilla Black, who could light up any room simply by walking into it. Her humor was instinctive, her warmth entirely genuine, and her laugh, Cliff says, is one of the first things he thinks of when her name comes up. 5 people, 5 friendships. A reminder that the real measure of any life isn't found in headlines or award cabinets. It's found in the people who walked beside you while the memories were being made. If this moved you the way it moved us, give it a like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from.